The video captures a severe equipment failure incident during a lifting operation where a mobile crane was being used to hoist a heavy electrical component, likely a large transformer or power module, onto a flatbed truck. The footage shows that due to the extreme weight of the load or an imbalance in the rigging, the crane suddenly lost stability and experienced a critical tip-over. The entire crane structure collapsed violently forward, causing significant structural damage to the crane itself and the surrounding area. Fortunately, the footage suggests that nearby personnel were able to avoid direct impact. This incident stresses the crucial need for accurate calculation of load weight, verification of the crane's capacity chart, and proper deployment and stability checks of all outriggers to prevent catastrophic equipment failure and the subsequent hazards created by falling loads and structures. The video documents a severe safety incident in a warehouse or logistics environment where two workers were maneuvering a pallet jack, with a tall, heavy stack of cargo. The footage clearly shows one of the workers distracted by a mobile phone instead of focusing on the task of stabilizing the load. Suddenly, due to the unstable stack, the movement of the pallet jack, or poor concentration, the tall column of cargo lost balance and toppled over. The falling freight struck the distracted worker with immense force. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for maintaining focus and prohibiting mobile phone use while operating or working near moving equipment and high stacks of material, as well as the need for properly wrapping and securing all tall cargo to prevent severe crush and impact hazards. The video captures a severe safety violation during a lifting operation where a worker was positioned unsafely on top of a stack of metal sheets or corrugated roofing panels that were being hoisted by a crane or lifting device onto a truck bed. The footage shows the lifting mechanism, or the crane, experiencing a sudden malfunction or jerking motion, causing the suspended load to jolt violently and repeatedly. This unstable movement caused the worker to lose balance rapidly, leading to an immediate fall from the significant height of the load to the ground below. This dangerous incident highlights the absolute and critical prohibition against using suspended loads as a personnel platform under any circumstances. All work at height must be performed using certified safety equipment, such as aerial lifts or scaffolding, along with mandatory personal fall protection systems to prevent severe injuries from falling. The video documents an extremely severe industrial incident inside a repair or fabrication workshop where 3 workers were present. The footage shows one worker using a miniature angle grinder or cutting tool to work on a sealed container, likely a vessel previously holding compressed air or flammable gas. Suddenly, the cutting process ignited residual contents or compromised the structural integrity of the container, causing a violent, uncontrolled blast and forceful propulsion of the container in a straight line. The powerful reaction forcibly dragged the worker who was operating the cutting tool along with the container due to the intense energy of the blast. This incident highlights the absolute prohibition against performing any hot work, cutting, welding, on sealed vessels without completely purging them of all contents and verifying a zero-energy state, as failure to do so results in extreme blast and impact hazards. The video documents a severe incident involving a truck driver who was positioning or securing a detached trailer unit on the roadside. The footage shows the driver standing near the coupling mechanism and releasing the locking devices. Suddenly, the unsecured trailer unit began to roll backward uncontrollably down the slight incline or slope. The driver quickly realized the danger and attempted to manually control or halt the heavy rolling trailer, but was unable to stop its momentum. The moving trailer subsequently impacted the driver forcefully before rolling further away. Fortunately, the video suggests the driver sustained only minor visible injuries. This incident critically underscores the mandatory need for drivers to use wheel chocks on all detached trailers and ensure the parking brakes and landing gear are fully engaged and stable before releasing the tractor unit, as uncontrolled trailer movement creates an extreme and immediate hazard. The video captures a severe safety incident on a construction or excavation site involving a wheel loader or excavator attempting to move a large, high volume of soil or spoil. The footage shows the machine positioning itself near a steep or unstable embankment of earth. Suddenly, the tall mass of spoil loses its stability and experiences a massive, rapid collapse. The falling soil and debris struck the excavator with immense force, causing the cab and machine to be heavily impacted and buried under a large quantity of earth. Fortunately, the operator appeared to be uninjured. This incident highlights the critical necessity for maintaining a safe operating distance from the crest of any spoil pile and the mandatory requirement to never excavate beneath a steep embankment to prevent severe crush and entrapment. The video documents a highly complex and severe recovery operation where a truck had fallen from a bridge or elevated structure. The footage shows multiple crane vehicles, 2 separate cranes, being used in tandem to lift the heavy, damaged truck. Suddenly, during the critical phase of the lift, the cable or rigging on one of the cranes catastrophically fails or breaks. The remaining single crane is instantly unable to bear the sudden, unbalanced weight of the truck, leading to a rapid and complete tip-over and structural collapse of the second crane. The entire crane vehicle, including the operator's cabin, is violently pulled downward along with the falling truck. Fortunately, the video suggests the operator of the collapsing crane was able to safely exit the cabin. This incident stresses the crucial need for rigorous load calculations, certified rigging, and strict adherence to multi-crane lifting plans to prevent severe equipment failure, collapse hazards, and uncontrolled heavy load movement. The video captures a severe loading operation incident where workers were transferring cargo onto a truck bed using a forklift. The footage shows the forklift operator's view was significantly obstructed by the large bag or palletized cargo being carried. While operating with this limited visibility, the forklift operator moved the load onto the truck bed. A worker who was positioned on the truck bed was unexpectedly struck by the approaching cargo, causing him to immediately lose balance and fall dramatically from the height of the truck bed to the ground below. This incident clearly highlights the critical necessity for forklift operators to ensure their vision is never obstructed by the load traveling in reverse if necessary, and the absolute requirement for clear communication and separation. Protocols to ensure no personnel are present in the immediate loading zone to prevent severe impact and fall injuries. The video captures a severe industrial incident in a workshop setting involving a machine with exposed rotating parts or a winding mechanism. The footage shows a worker operating near the machinery when, without warning, a piece of material, possibly fabric, wire, or scrap, becomes snagged by the moving roller or shaft. Due to the extreme force and speed of the rotation, the material instantaneously and violently pulls the worker's body into the active machine mechanism. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory machine guarding to fully enclose all rotating, winding, and pinch points. Furthermore, all personnel must ensure that no loose materials, scrap, or unsecured tools are present near active equipment to prevent these severe entanglement and pull-in hazards. The video captures a severe equipment failure incident involving a large mobile crane attempting to launch a vessel into the water, likely at a marina or shipyard. The footage shows the crane hoisting the heavy boat when, due to the extreme weight of the load or a shifting of the vessel's center of gravity, the crane immediately loses lateral stability. This critical imbalance causes the massive crane to violently tip over and collapse sideways in an uncontrolled manner. This incident highlights the critical necessity for accurate load weight assessment, verification of the lift radius and capacity chart, and ensuring outriggers are fully extended and secured on stable ground to prevent catastrophic tip-over hazards during heavy lifting operations near water. The video captures a severe industrial incident in a manufacturing or production setting involving a large, operational industrial mixer or dough mixing machine. The footage shows a worker positioned near the top opening of the mixer, and suddenly, the worker's arm or upper body is caught by the internal rotating blades or agitators. The high rotational force of the machinery then violently pulls the worker deeper into the operating mechanism. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory, interlocking machine guards to be in place and functioning correctly on all mixers and similar machinery. The guards must prevent access to the rotating parts while the machine is active, thereby eliminating the severe crush and entanglement hazards inherent to this equipment. The video documents a catastrophic equipment failure incident involving a large crane operating on a construction or industrial site. The footage shows the crane hoisting a massive load when, due to the extreme weight or miscalculation, the crane suddenly loses forward stability. This critical failure causes the crane's main structure to violently buckle and collapse forward in an uncontrolled manner, resulting in the uncontrolled descent of the suspended load and severe damage to the entire machine structure. This incident highlights the critical necessity for rigorous adherence to engineered load limits and the crane's certified load capacity charts to prevent catastrophic structural failure and the resulting extreme crush and impact. Hazards. The video captures a catastrophic accident inside an industrial facility or workshop where multiple workers were present on the ground floor. The footage shows a section of the overhead ceiling structure or roofing experiencing a sudden and violent failure. The structure rapidly fractures and collapses downward, raining large debris and structural material onto the active work area. The incident occurred so quickly that workers below were unable to react and were impacted by the falling rubble and wreckage. This incident underscores the absolute necessity for regular structural integrity inspections of all industrial facilities and the immediate need to designate and restrict access to any area showing signs of compromised overhead stability to prevent severe crush and impact injuries from falling debris. The video captures a severe accident during a demolition project involving an excavator operating on or near an existing, unfinished, or decommissioned bridge structure. The footage shows the excavator using its boom and breaker attachment to dismantle sections of the bridge decking or support. Suddenly, the structural integrity of the bridge section being worked on fails catastrophically. The entire section of the bridge gives way and collapses violently, pulling the excavator and its operator down with the falling structure. This incident highlights the critical need for rigorous structural engineering assessments and precise, calculated sequencing during demolition projects to prevent an uncontrolled structural failure and the resulting extreme crush hazard for equipment and personnel. The video captures a severe incident in a manufacturing or metal processing facility involving the handling of a large, heavy steel coil. The footage shows a worker maneuvering the coil or positioned near it when, suddenly, the heavy steel banding fails, causing the tensioned coil to spring open violently and uncontrollably. The rapidly expanding steel coil forcefully impacted the worker, who was standing close by. This incident underscores the absolute necessity for all personnel to maintain a safe standoff distance from coiled or tensioned materials, and it highlights the critical need to ensure secure, heavy-duty banding is used and checked before movement to prevent the severe springback and crush hazards associated with steel coil failure. The video captures a severe industrial accident in a food production or bakery environment involving a large, operational dough mixer or similar processing machine. The footage shows a worker positioned near the top opening of the mixer when, suddenly, the worker's clothing became snagged by the internal rotating blades or agitators. The high rotational force of the machinery began to violently pull the worker toward the operating bowl. Fortunately, the resistance was so great that the clothing tore and broke free, allowing the worker to escape from the active mechanism without being fully pulled in. This incident emphasizes the absolute necessity for mandatory interlocking machine guards to be installed and fully functional on all mixers, as these guards are critical to prevent access to rotating parts while the machine is active, thereby eliminating the severe crush and entanglement hazards inherent to this equipment. The video captures a severe industrial incident inside a factory or textile processing plant where fabric or similar material is being handled. The footage shows a worker positioned dangerously close to a large rotating roller or pinch point, performing a task near the machine's active mechanism. Suddenly, the worker's clothing or a loose item is snagged by the rotating roller, causing them to be violently and instantaneously pulled into the moving pinch point. The worker was unable to react in time to the sudden entanglement. Fellow workers immediately noticed the event and quickly ran to assist the impacted colleague. This severe incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory, rigid machine guarding to fully enclose all rotating parts and pinch points, as well as the need for strict safety protocols to prohibit loose clothing near moving machinery, preventing severe entanglement injuries. The video captures a severe industrial incident in a workshop setting where a worker, a woman, was operating a small machine, possibly a wire stranding device or a sheet rolling apparatus, that featured a small rotating roller or set of pinch points. The footage shows that the worker's clothing or an article of material suddenly became snagged by the small roller, and she was immediately pulled and wound into the rotating mechanism. Fortunately, nearby colleagues quickly noticed the event and immediately rushed to assist her. This severe incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory machine guarding to fully enclose all rotating parts and pinch points, as well as the need for strict safety protocols to prohibit loose clothing and ensure all emergency stop functions are easily accessible to prevent severe entanglement injuries. The video captures a severe industrial incident in a workshop setting where two workers were operating near a piece of machinery with moving parts, possibly a stamping or assembling mechanism. The footage shows one worker reaching their hand into the active mechanism area while the machine was energized. Suddenly, the moving part or ram of the machinery descended rapidly and unexpectedly, resulting in the worker's hand being caught and crushed by the descending component. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory lockout, tagout procedures to de-energize and secure machinery before any part of the body is placed into the operating area. Furthermore, the use of interlocking guards and safety presence sensors is critical to prevent severe crush and pinch point injuries. The video captures a severe accident during a demolition operation involving an excavator dismantling a steel-framed building or structure. The footage shows the machine working on the structure when, suddenly, a large section of the metal framework or building gives way and collapses instantly. The collapse happens so quickly that the excavator operator is unable to move the machine clear in time, resulting in the excavator being struck and heavily impacted by the falling steel and debris. This incident highlights the critical need for rigorous engineering control and planning during structural demolition to predict and manage the direction of collapse, ensuring that equipment and operators maintain a safe, designated exclusion zone from the immediate collapse area. The video captures a severe industrial incident where a worker was attempting to clean or wipe down an active, rotating roller or shaft mechanism. The footage shows the worker using a cloth or rag while the machinery was energized. Suddenly, the cloth is snagged by the rotating roller, and the resulting high rotational force immediately pulls the worker's hand and arm into the pinch point, causing immediate distress. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory adherence to lockout, tagout procedures to fully de-energize and secure all moving parts before cleaning, maintenance, or inspection. Furthermore, never use hands, loose gloves, or rags to clean active rollers or rotating components to prevent severe pull-in and crush injuries. The video captures a severe industrial incident inside a factory or workshop involving a large piece of machinery with powerful, moving components. The footage shows a worker positioned near the operating mechanism when, suddenly, a heavy section or arm of the machine activates or moves rapidly and unexpectedly. In this uncontrolled movement, the worker's arm became caught and pulled into the roller mechanism as the large component moved suddenly. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory and functioning safety controls, sensors, and protective barriers to prevent personnel from entering the operating envelope of automated or powered machinery. The video captures a severe industrial incident in a warehouse or loading area where a team of workers was preparing a heavy, large package or palletized load for hoisting using a lifting machine. The footage shows one worker climbing onto or near the package to secure the rigging. Suddenly, the lifting mechanism loses control or malfunctions, causing the heavy load to shift violently and crush the worker against the surrounding cargo. Fortunately, nearby co-workers immediately rushed to provide assistance. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for strict adherence to safety protocols that prohibit personnel from riding on or standing on unsecured or suspended loads. It also emphasizes the critical need for regular maintenance and inspection of all lifting and rigging equipment to ensure mechanical integrity. The video captures a severe loading and unloading incident involving a forklift at a dock or loading area. The footage shows the forklift operator driving the vehicle into a semi-trailer or box truck. Suddenly, the bridge plate or dock plate that secured the gap either slipped or collapsed. This failure caused the forklift to abruptly slide backward, and simultaneously, the unsecured truck began to roll forward. This combined motion caused the forklift to tip over backward and off the dock, resulting in the forklift and the operator falling forcefully to the ground. This incident underscores the critical necessity for mandatory chocking or positive securing of all trailers before any loading or unloading operation begins. Furthermore, it highlights the need for inspecting and securely fastening all dock plates to prevent slipping and to maintain the required stability for safe equipment transition. The video captures a severe construction or public works incident involving a forklift or similar vehicle attempting to hoist and position a large metal pole or column for signage. The footage shows the pole suspended by rigging when, suddenly, the lifting sling or cable snaps or fails. The large, heavy pole instantly falls in an uncontrolled manner, and its trajectory causes it to directly impact a man walking nearby in the work zone. This incident highlights the critical need for rigorous, pre-use inspection of all rigging equipment, slings, cables, chains, for wear or damage before every lift. It also emphasizes the absolute necessity for mandatory exclusion zones around all suspended or hoisted loads to prevent personnel from entering the hazardous drop zone, mitigating catastrophic crush and impact risks. The video captures a concerning incident involving a woman preparing to descend a set of stairs. The footage shows her suddenly experiencing difficulty breathing or a rapid physical distress, which immediately leads to her losing consciousness. This loss of balance causes her to fall forward and tumble down the stairs in an uncontrolled and dangerous manner. This incident highlights the importance of immediate access to medical assistance in public areas and emphasizes the severe fall hazard that stairs present, especially when a person is experiencing a sudden, unexpected health emergency. video captures a severe industrial incident inside a factory or workshop where a group of workers was engaged in tasks. The footage shows one worker approaching a container, barrel, or pressurized vessel. Suddenly, the container experiences a catastrophic and violent rupture. The resulting high-force blast wave and flying debris forcefully throw the worker backward a significant distance. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory and proper inspection of all pressurized or chemical containers to ensure structural integrity. Furthermore, it emphasizes the critical need for strict adherence to safety protocols when working near potential blast hazards, including maintaining a safe distance and using protective barriers to prevent severe impact injuries. The video captures a severe incident in an industrial setting, likely related to the moving or installation of a multi-ton diesel generator or a similar piece of extremely heavy machinery. The footage shows workers operating near the massive equipment when, suddenly, the heavy generator loses stability, tips over, and rapidly falls onto its side. This uncontrolled fall created a catastrophic crush and impact hazard for anyone in the immediate vicinity. Fortunately, no workers were impacted or injured by the equipment failure. This incident highlights the critical need for rigorous engineering planning, proper rigging, and positive stabilization when hoisting or moving extremely heavy, high center of gravity loads. Personnel must maintain a safe exclusion zone from the path of a potential tip-over to prevent severe crush and impact injuries. The video captures a severe near-miss incident inside an automotive repair or maintenance shop. The footage shows a worker positioned underneath a vehicle while performing a repair. The worker notices the vehicle shifting or moving slightly, prompting them to immediately exit the area beneath the vehicle to secure the setup. Moments after the worker moves out of the danger zone, the vehicle falls or collapses rapidly due to a failure in the lifting or support mechanism. Fortunately, the worker narrowly escaped impact because they moved out of the fall path immediately before the collapse. This incident highlights the critical importance of using properly rated, redundant, and stable vehicle support systems, like heavy-duty jack stands, and the absolute necessity of never relying solely on a hydraulic jack when working beneath a vehicle. The video captures a sudden fire incident occurring in a garage or vehicle workshop where a worker was performing a welding operation, hot work. The footage shows sparks or molten material from the welding process contacting nearby flammable materials. This contact immediately causes a fire to ignite and rapidly grow, putting the worker and the property at serious risk. This incident highlights the absolute necessity for mandatory fire watch protocols during all hot work, ensuring the area is clear of combustibles within the appropriate radius, and having readily available fire suppression equipment on hand.